the beloveds. It's a beautiful drive to the country. I'm going to show it to you. We have this awesome, they call it a garden center, where you can buy anything garden or kitchen related. So anyways, it's just a weekly treat to just drive to the country and enjoy it, and go buy some ginger beer or something that you can't find in so-called regular stores. Anyways, let me see if I can position this. Sorry, I don't have the best photography skills. Anyways, and it's a beautiful drive, and there are a bunch of people from the big city that come here, and you can see them in front of me. I'm like a pacer car. Anyways, I hope you can hear me. Hang on, let me see if I can turn. Okay, hopefully you can hear me better now. So it's beautiful. We just kind of drive through the country and enjoy life on a small scale. But I was thinking about this whole, everybody's kind of alone, or some people are lonely type concept. Where does it stem from? Okay, so now it's a dream universe. You really cannot describe it in words. But if we're gonna have a conversation, on a human mortal type level, then the best way to describe it is, at the origin of everything, obviously it starts off with nothing, right? And that nothing stirs, so it becomes a spirit. And that spirit wraps, it's like an S code type, its shape, and it wraps upon itself, and as it embraces itself, because it's lonely, it creates patterns. So it looks like the infinity sign. So the two patterns of the circles are basically, nature, and they develop this grid that looks like the flower of life pattern. And where they cross, they create this interference pattern that we call the material. So it's like the X kind of. So technically, where two eyes of the circle cross, or two segments of the circle cross, you create this interference pattern, and that's kind of like the hologram. So the universe is technically a hologram, and spirit is the light that fuels the hologram. Because if you look at how holograms work, you need a light source and an interference pattern. So that's exactly how it is. So it's a spiritual universe, but it's within a holographic digital type format. The circles create a flower of life pattern, and where they overlap, we have lives. We have what's called worlds, right? Because you have the interference pattern that creates the material illusion, and then where the X's cross, they create this cross grid pattern that is the material pattern technically. That's why the cross is the symbol of this AI material matrix. So that's exactly how it is when it comes down to the logistics of the universe. Now, what does this have to do with alone or loneliness? Well, within the circle, circle is technically like a symbol of the embrace, right? The eternal embrace that we give ourselves. And within that eternal embrace, you have everything. Just imagine a circle that constantly collects everything, everything. Feelings, memories, all the dream characters we have created. So it's kind of like the gatherer. So because it's technically the divine feminine or nature, it's like the gatherer. And we that belong to that gatherer type collective are always together. And that's the reason why, number one, you never feel lonely, but sometimes you feel alone because you're used to always having everybody together. It's just like me growing up in a big family, people were always around. So, to transition to the United States where nobody's around, I saw a meme, I think, online that said, families have been social distancing for years without even talking about it. So anyways, that's exactly how it goes. You belong to the source, to the everythingness part of the source. I'm going to pull over here because this road is a little shady, but so you belong to the everythingness of source, and that's the reason why you're constantly surrounded by everyone, all the souls. Just like I remember with source, you know, it's everything is together. Now, the part where the everythingness split from its mirror image, the mirror image basically becomes the nothingness or the void. And the void is empty because, you know, there are two sides of source. One has everything and one has nothing. And because there's always that duality, that yin and yang type thing. Well, the nothing people, or the voidians, so to speak, you see them everywhere. They're empty. They need things. They need loosh. They need experience. They need you to come and fuel their lives. And that's the reason why a lot of them, whether they're alone or not, they are lonely. So there's a huge difference between the people that come from the everythingness side of the source and the people that, or not come from, because we come from the same place, but let's say I remember the everythingness part of the source, and some people remember the void part of the source. And a lot of you guys have actually seen the void as well. And those are, you know, the ones that I call the most complete, because they are aware of the everythingness part of source as well as the void part of source. So you're more compassionate to the people that come from the void. And the people that come from the void, holy cow, man, they are empty. It is so sad. You can literally hear the wind howling between their ears, and they just sit there. I was married to a few of them. They just sit there like in the middle of the floor in the living room and literally just feel the void, the void the void and the void. They're just empty. Holy cow. And there's no way. They're like the bottomless pit. They can never be filled. So a lot of you guys see that within your marriages. Now, I'm not saying it's all men, because I know quite a few men that are not. Actually, I know quite a few men that are from, you know, what I would call the fullness of source. They're amazing. They really are. And a man that does not come from the void is just a miracle to all of us. You know, all the men in my family were like that, and then some of you guys on this channel are like that. And just beautiful, beautiful beings. But yes, these people that belong to the void, and they're more and more creative, because what we're doing right now, okay, so you are the universe, and you are imagining those concentric circles that I was telling you, like a child's toy. So you have a bigger circle or hula hoop, and then a smaller one, and when they're flat, which is everything here and now, because dimensions don't exist, that looks like a target side. And then as you go through the pyramid of division, you take those circles and you pull them up, and as you pull them up, they spread into like a pyramid, almost like a cone. And so you are everything. Now, as you ascend and descend, some people call them dimensions. You've heard 5D, 9D, blah, blah, blah. As people ascend and descend through those circles, you're actually contacting different matrix patterns. So at the oneness, where it's everything, you know, you have sort of the best of the best, because we're all one. We're all oneness. So that's at the top of the pyramid. And then as we descend down into the base, what I call base consciousness, you have literally, you're devoid of anything. So anyway, it's really hard to describe these concepts in mortal words, but I try. Anyways, you can describe them all to yourself, because you already have that wisdom. It's kind of interesting. One of my friends, Paula, on here, she said, you know, I often want to email you with questions, and the moment I formulate the question, I already answered myself. So that's exactly how it is. The only thing is you have to do is formulate your question. And once you formulate your question, you already have your answer. That's why even Jesus said, ask and you shall receive instantly. So anyway, so that's where all this loneliness and aloneness comes from. It all comes from, you know, these primordial patterns that we see within the universe, the circles and the square, or the circle and the cross, or the circle and the eye. They're two faces of the same mirror, for lack of better terms. So anyways, the mirror concept is an interesting one. I was talking to my divine brother Devin yesterday, and you know, he was talking about, I'll let him talk about it, but he was talking about this matrix being the black mirror, and then we're also looking onto even blacker mirrors when we're looking onto our phones. But that's a topic of a different. I spoke on my old channel a little bit about the mirror and how it basically connects you to a different world, almost like a shadow consciousness of this world. And the mirrors are, holy cow, they're very, very powerful. I actually really don't like mirrors. But as much as I like to look at myself in the mirror, LOL, yeah, the mirrors are definitely a presence. You can feel it. So, but then again, you know, it's all in your mind. Whatever you believe is correct. So anyways, I hope you enjoy the drive and this talk. I hope this recording was not too terrible. I have my wireless headphones in rather than my wired ones. But I hope it wasn't too terrible and you heard a little bit of part of this video. So anyways, enjoy your day, and whether you're alone or lonely, we are in it together. And technically, once you face the reality that you are the only one in your universe, that right now, right here and now, you are the only one. Now you're connecting to other only ones across different platforms, but you know, within this universe, this is your dream, this is your illusion. So whatever you make of it is, you know, what you need to make of it. And there's no right or wrong, because there's no death, and you are immortal and eternal, and you go on and on and on in different patterns and different realms. And it's get some sleep and pace yourself. Don't burn yourself up, because eternity is very long. Now, of course, eternity is all in one moment in the now, but eternity is also very, very eternal. So are you. So pace yourself. Don't burn yourself out like right now, because there is no death. And the moment you think there is death, what you're gonna do? Close your eyes, and then instantly you are in a different world. So I don't know who gave you the idea that you're gonna rest. I don't know, because that is not something that I remember. And in Twilight Zone, they had an episode where when you die, you literally step from one dream into another dream, and it's a seamless transition. So, but then again, you know, would you want to be dead forever? I mean, yes and no. The answer to everything is yes and no, because if you're dead, you can actually connect your consciousness to the living, and that's what these circle of nines are doing. They're basically disembodied consciousness that is connecting to the living, and that's a long discussion, because I think they figured out how to live without actually living. Sneaky little buggers. But there you go. That's Illuminati for you. They're always experimenting with some shit or another. Alright, well, enjoy your day and stay in peace. Enjoy some sunshine in Lakesh.